to getting ready for our first version of the NCAA tournament postseason music. That is very, very fitting, by the way. Nick Valvano joining us for the producing of the official ESPN Louisville pregame show. If you would pardon me, there is a raucous fan base next door enjoying a very, let's just say it's exciting. It's exciting. It is exciting next door. Like I'm not sure what's going on. I've kind of been relying on the grunts and the cheers to know in general what's going on. Right, right. Listen. I will let them do their joint cheering, joint booing on the other show. But here you are, 93.9. We may have a bit of an abbreviated pregame show with the baseball game coming up. Nikki Valvano, if you have the superlatives for the baseball game, I want to give him a chance to shout that out real quick. Ah, it will be the second game of the. Okay. Was that curveball from last night? Oh, oh, oh my God! Like when you make the guy actually jump out of the box and look out for his head with the curveball, I'm like, that's a nasty, nasty curveball against a lefty too. Ugh, looks filthy, filthy. Right. Crocodile Dundee. I had a serious heart to heart conversation with Steve Rummage, and I was proud to hear he was dead serious. I was dead serious. When this basketball season's over, we're going to make sure we divert as much attention to this baseball team as humanly possible. With that being said, I opened the show with tournament time conversation because that's the vibe. Let's be honest, people. When Marcus Maben woke up this morning, when you woke up this morning, when Nick Valbano got out of bed this morning and looked outside and checked the temperature, upon learning that it was 26 degrees around 9 o'clock this morning, everybody was thinking Groundhog Day, Punxsutawney Phil, go back into hibernation. But by 11:30, the temperature had changed, the sun came out, and people were at the car wash because they felt like it was spring. When it starts feeling like it's spring, it starts feeling like it's March. When it starts feeling like it's March, it starts feeling like win or go home. Congratulations, people. We get a preseason tournament 1 week early with the Saturday on the road for a share of the ACC regular season championship. And I shouldn't even say for a share, but it's for a share, but I don't care. ACC championship on the line against a Virginia team who Nicky Valvano actually got an assistant coach on his father's show, the V show, who talked about the game coming up, who sounded as excited and as enthusiastic as we all are. Like I don't know the line at this point. I don't know the line between commercial conversation and break conversation and game time conversation. But listen, there is no kind of strategy that can be delivered from middays with Marcus Maben to ESPN Louisville pregame show to the game that will affect. But I'll say this: while I stole the guest from Bobby B for a second, it sounded like they felt like they were going to be at full strength. Repeat, it sounded like they felt like there was an opportunity that they may be at full strength. Now, I'm not going to jump off a cliff and say I know something that the rest don't know, because the gamblers will have your head for doing that. But I'll just say this: I wouldn't be surprised if it was full strength, and I wouldn't be surprised if there was a level of confidence out of this University of Louisville team that you don't expect. And why do I say that? Not because they're number whatever in the nation. That's not the reason I expected confidence. The coaches expected the confidence. The coaches, in my opinion, feel like they have a good team and a good team that's ready to go. 8150 939 is the number. 815-0939. Feel free to jump in the pregame show. Let us know your enthusiasm level from 1 to 10. 10 being as enthusiastic as possible. 1 being, I'm still trying to figure out what to make of this team, heads or tails. But I will say this. You can look at the numbers, and you see Virginia number 1 in defensive efficiency, and you see Louisville top 25, 30 maybe, defensive efficiency. And then you go to offensive efficiency, and Louisville's, again, probably in the top 20, and Virginia in the offensive efficiency is probably 200 plus, is a fact. When you look at their resume or their roster, you look at Kihei Clark, Jay Huff, Walden Tensai, and Mamadou Diakite, and you say, I have 9 that should be able to beat their 4. Now, if my 9 don't beat their 4, then the people who are not as excited about this game, who don't trust their team quite as much, they're going to have a hill to shout on if you have a poor performance. Now, listen, let's get this one out the way now. Hill to shout off of is not being prepared to play, not looking like they have the intestinal fortitude, for lack of a better term, for them to show up not looking like they're ready to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat is a lot different than going to Virginia, going to Charlottesville, and getting buzzsawed by a team with players who have a championship ring with them. Players who have been as deep in the deepest waters as you could possibly go and come out breathing. That team has players that have done it. So here's the thing, people. While I, like anybody else on the planet, say, I believe Louisville, keep in mind, it's a 1-point spread. Louisville's going in there as a 1-point underdog. So take all the analytics I just gave you, and even Vegas knows. And they don't have the analytics to really add up or match up with what they say. But even in Vegas, there's some smart guy at the top of the food chain who looks at all the numbers that they give you, and then they say at the end of it, they say, yeah, but they got some players that won some championships. Which makes all those analytics go right out the door. Right? That's a fact. I mean, it's okay to deal with. So that's what you're looking at. So add up, you got some championship winning players on that team. Add up, it's senior night in Virginia. Everywhere you have to be very careful of the energy of senior night. Add up that it was personal. It was personal the way, I was going to say Jay Wright. What's my coach's name? Tony Bennett, thank you. No, Mike Bray. Mike Bray fits him a little better, just the open collar, like he pulls off the beard and the open. You got to be so fresh dressed to pull off that plumber look. That's what I'm saying. So you have to kind of give him his props, his shape mixed with his beard, and just like he's not supposed to be able to make me feel comfortable that you're my head coach. But yeah, his gear is so fresh that I'm comfortable with Mike Bray being my head coach. The point I'm making here is Tony Bennett loses the game to Louisville and immediately goes to the bench, I don't care how many other games we lose for the rest of the year. I'm paraphrasing, and he didn't really say this, but you get the point. This is the attitude he brought. I don't care how many other listen, if we're not a good team, we're not a good team. We will not lose to that team at home. Think about that. You got a guy coming off of, I believe, back-to-back ACC championships. He's replacing a bunch of G Leaguers. By the way, that's a conversation to have maybe a little bit later on, maybe on the show during the week. He lost a lot of guys to the quote-unquote pros, right? Like he really lost some good players. who are actually in the G League right now trying to stay alive. Now take all that he lost to professional basketball, and take what he has on a general scale, and then when you say, I don't care, I'm just not losing to that team, it's personal and it's a compliment, but it's still personal. Because there's something in that one that says, I'm not losing to Louisville. They shouldn't be beating us, especially like this. And I'm going to tell you what it is, people, because I've seen it in every sport, across every platform. It's dangerous. It's dangerous to let newcomer head coaches win too early, right? Because veteran coaches spend a long time trying to figure out how to win at this level. There is a certain bit of yeah. Oh, yeah. They got it done. Give them their props. Yeah. Yep, give them their props. Okay. There is something about a newcomer winning too fast that makes everybody uncomfortable. Think about this. Tony Bennett does a big, we're not losing at home to this team. And listen, anybody who goes back to the post game, to the sideline, you saw it. Tony Bennett was not going for it. Also, do you remember the way Coach K reacted in the press conference? Do you remember when Coach K talked about basketball shouldn't be played this way? Right after the game, he said there's no freedom of movement. And then he would listen. He walked it back. He Michael Jackson did, and he said, I mean, credit to Louisville and all that. And they were tough, and they out-toughed us. But basketball shouldn't be played this way. Now, if you're Chris Mack, and you came in here with your second year in the ACC, and you go to Cameron Indoor, and you beat Coach K, and he says this is not the way basketball should be played as your first time in Cameron, that's a problem. I mean, you're going to say the same nice things too. You're going to say, okay, yeah, Coach K, coach's rear end off. He was frustrated. My guys just brought tonight. But when you go home and put head to pillow, you're going to say, hey, babe, what the hell did he mean about basketball shouldn't be played this way? I mean, we dunked the ball 14 times. Basketball shouldn't be dunking? I imagine that's how Dale Griffith in 1979 felt when they just came out of the dunking era, or the no dunking era. Like, what do you mean basketball shouldn't be played this way? But again, ironically, and I know I'm going down a long, filthy road of outside basketball talk. But could you imagine them telling you that basketball shouldn't be played this way and they legalized dunking? Do you realize, people, that there are people on the NCAA committee right now who are a part of university basketball when they reinstated the dunking rule? And after they reinstated the dunking rule, you know who was front and center when they reinstated the dunking rule? Do you know? Yes, you do. The 1980, 79, 80 Louisville Cardinals were the team before Doctors of Dunk. I'm sorry, not Doctors, Flash Slamma Jamma. Before they came, it was Louisville. So imagine you got to take this rule off, and there's people right now who are making decisions about the University of Louisville who were pissed when they started dunking again. Because you went from Bill Walton to Derek Griffin, right? Like Bill Walton, Mr. Fundamental himself. Lou Alcindor wasn't allowed to dunk, so we don't even know what he could have looked like. And then you bring Griffin in, Scooter McCrae and Darrell Griffith, and the inventor of the high five, these damn Louisville Cardinals. People, what I'm giving you is a history of agitation by Louisville for 40 years. It is 2020. And there are people who have been working at these jobs with the NCAA for plus 40 years. You mad? You mad? Like, listen, and I get it. And Louisville fans, they wear it proudly because they know what they are. And I'm telling you, it's funny and it's overly selling a pressure point situation. But let's be honest. There are SEC schools that are considered blue blood in basketball. There are Big Ten, maybe not Big Ten, Big 12 schools that are blue blood in basketball. Pac-10 schools that are blue blood, they have blue blood basketball teams. But no conference has ever had more considered blue bloods in basketball than the ACC. Now, Louisville has kicked, shout out to Tom Church, by the way. Louisville has joined the Blue Blood Conference of basketball, and they have an opportunity to win a championship in the Blue Blood Conference. I mean, listen, no cap. Kentucky wins as many SEC championships as they want. And every other, all other blue bloods outside of their conference look down their nose at SEC basketball championship. They say, hey, Kentucky, you're doing a great job. You're a great team. You got your one championship, all good. But you don't play enough blue blood basketball to be considered one of us, in my opinion. I don't think, listen, Kentucky hates Duke. Duke doesn't consider Kentucky one of us, elite. North Carolina, Kentucky has more wins than North Carolina, and Carolina thinks we're basketball here. We hear y'all play basketball in Kentucky. That's cute. Look at the ESPN. ESPN adds to the fact that North Carolina and Duke think they run basketball. You know what I'm saying? Ask Wake Forest what they think about their basketball program. Ask North Carolina State. I'm sitting here with Nick Valvano, and ask North Carolina State, who's more blue blood in basketball, Kentucky or North Carolina State? They will say, you kidding me? We are Jimmy V and Phi Slamma Jamma. You kidding me? Not Phi Slamma Jamma, sorry. I keep on. Actually, we busted Phi Slamma Jamma. So we're even more legit than Phi Slamma Jamma. We are, like I'm serious about this. You know what I'm saying? The ACC really thinks they can go to bat with Kentucky as far as we're more blue blood than you are. Even if you have more wins. You know what I'm saying? That's where you're at. So here's the thing. It's not overstated. It's not overpressure. I'm just saying the opportunity that the University of Louisville has to jab, rib, stab is right here. I tell you what, we're going to take our one commercial break, set up the real pregame talk for the pregame show. The official ESPN Louisville pregame show on 939 The Bill. No. The Mac for the end. Oh, you probably won't have enough time, but get the Mac presser.